Hi, my name's Mark Hayward. I just want to talk to you about my journey. First of all, I'm a corporate employee with an entrepreneurial mindset. That means that I work for a big corporation, but I've been fascinated with entrepreneurship and also been fascinated in the mindset that is so important for an entrepreneur to be able to be truly distinctive, truly original. Now, there's lots of things in between that which I get involved in, and you'll hear that some of those things that I talk about. So let's start all the way back from my graduation. I graduated from a politics degree, and I then was looking to do some travelling, which is what I did with to be able to pay for that. I did some civil service. I worked for civil service in the UK, so basically for government, as a contractor, which was very interesting, but to a large extent totally unfulfilling. So I went travelling, did a few other bits and bobs to do with politics, and then decided that I wanted to do something different. So I joined a big corporation as an administrator. So this was a way in with very little sort of corporate or business experience to be able to get into a large corporation, which was sort of my intention at that time. So I started as an administrator, was working there for quite some time, did some work with finance, which was quite enlightening, it was quite interesting. But I kind of found the role a little bit unfulfilling, and didn't particularly enjoy it. Found a lot of it demoralising. That I was working with professionals, consultants, and they were and they had certain way of working, which meant that I was the sort of support staff for them. I think the main thing that I like, there's lots of people that do the administration role and love it. There are people that I work with now, and I'll tell you a little bit more about the story, but I'm not going to sit here and criticise an administration role. Support staff is incredibly important for a business to be successful. So I would say there are people that I know that are administrators and very happy. The salary suits them. The flexibility suits them of being able to look after their kids on half term and term time. So I think there's definitely a sort of neat or sort of area in business where the administrator is incredibly important. My experience was the sort of risk management, the billing, I found myself having to e-file documents, and I kind of felt there was a little bit more that I could do, and I needed to find my way and my route away from administration. Lots of people don't and stay where they are, but I was able to get to work with a really good line manager who used her network and her experience to she saw something in me that probably no one else had done for quite some time, and she was great. She sort of took me through the role and some opportunities that were available. One of them was working in a software, a sort of technology consultancy business, and I thought it was really interesting. Instead of going into the sort of support side of risk management or finance, actually doing something that was interesting. I always had an interest in technology, but it was working with her that she was able to influence me in a positive way and believe in me, which was more than a lot of people had done in that role. So it was then a plan to be able to move over to the consultancy. It took a couple of interviews. Definitely wasn't the easiest 2 or 3 interviews that I had, but I was I was very interested. I was keen. I was proactive. Some of the skills that I possessed, I think a lot of people have either ignored or put down. But fortunately, one of the directors saw something in me. I think he liked me. Saw something in me that he thought was a true possibility. So it was then the pain of actually converting to the consultancy. Now, this took a number of months because I'd actually embedded myself quite a lot in the finance side of the administrator. That it meant that for probably 3, 4, 5 months, it's difficult to say. This was quite some time ago now. I needed to prove myself that I could do an upskill and learn the technology piece, but also continue doing my finance role specifically. So it was incredibly hard. It was pretty much doing, we expected to do 7 hours a day. It was pretty much doing 8, 9, 9.5, maybe even 10 hours, being able to do both roles and be able to hand over the finance to another administrator, which, because it was quite a complicated client, it was a big client, it meant that it was really, really difficult to be able just to unpick myself from that role. But I knew that it was the right thing to do. I knew there was definitely something that I needed to do. And as they saw something in me, saw an opportunity, I was not going to let it go. So one of the things that sort of fed back to me is my persistence. And I think that was ringing true even then, because I believed that I needed to do this. I needed to become a consultant. So it then just means unpicking and sort of changing my mindset from a doer to a thinker. And I think this is the sort of the golden nugget in all of this is, when you're an administrator, you are a doer. You get on and do it, right? As a consultant, you're paid to think. And that, I think, can stumble a lot of people because they're not quite sure how to think that way or how to get the most out of themselves. But being able to change that mindset was incredibly important for my success. And I started to realise that through these number of years since this happened, that I loved doing it. I loved thinking. I loved being able to break an idea down and be able to get a solution. So that was incredibly hard. But it was that piece of advice. Well, Mark, you need to start thinking about solutions. And that was just a revelation at the time, because I was posting 10, 12 bills on the last day of the month, and it was a process that was just bam, 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 get them done, do them. Now, I was then getting problems from clients and having to resolve them. Now that's unheard of. So I started to enjoy it, and I just so the benefits of consultancy. So I moved from the support staff, the administrational side, and moved to the consultancy, which the benefits are that I was then in the mainstream of the business. It then opened up a route to partner, which is what I'm aiming to do. And it really meant that I was able to pursue a career rather than do a job well. And that, again, is a different mindset for you. You need to be able to get ready on. You need to be able to think that I need to progress and get promoted and deliver quality instead of quantity, which is, again, another shift in mindset. And so I ended up really loving the sort of consultancy work. I loved working with clients. I've developed a real passion for business development and finding new clients and working with them to solve problems. It's really been a revelation for me. I've absolutely loved it. And not enough people from the sort of admin role have moved into something like this, and I think it's been. I was surrounded by people that were quite successful. and therefore they had high expectations for me. And being able to get myself into that sort of consultancy, working with people, dealing with solutions, and that was the solution side was the really interesting piece. And something that I always did, I thought I did, but evidence says I probably didn't enough, was I didn't believe in myself enough that I was capable of doing some of these things. So my line manager, who I still speak to whenever she's in my office, believed in me, and that started me believing in myself. Things happen personally and privately, and the boss, who the director, who believed in me that I could do this and I was the right fit for them. Also, that was incredibly rewarding, and it's about improving yourself all the time, being a better employee, being able to deliver solutions, be able to solve problems. Was incredibly exciting and interesting, and I loved it. So the sort of opening up of the world, I say the world, it sounds a little bit over the top, but opening up a part of the business that was completely closed off for me while I was an administrator, and that kind of route to partner is very exciting now, that I can actually see myself be a partner, where previously it was going to be a struggle. It was impossible as an administrator to be able to get to route to partner. But so the other thing that I just wanted to just raise is that life is tough. Like, you get demanding clients, you get problems that are outside of your control, and then you're made accountable for. You have people that you get political people that cause you problems. You get you get people that you don't like, but you have to work with. So there's different. Life is hard as a consultant, and it's tough to get to a partner. Don't delude yourself that it won't take a hell of a lot of work to be able to deliver that. But do you know what? It's rewarding, and I get a real buzz out of getting a new client and signing them up and getting them implemented. I get a real buzz from interacting with my current clients and trying to get change requests with them, and really just like sitting down and understanding their problems. And I think it's the route for me. So it's incredibly rewarding but tough business, and I think more than anything else, I just love not being an administrator. Now, I really enjoy my job, but the sort of thrill that I got was proving people and myself wrong, that I could actually do this, and I actually had a route to be able to be successful. So everyone's success is different. Some might it might be partner, some might be a steady job, some might be an administrator. The horse for course is everyone wants different things, but I would say what's incredibly important is not to constrain yourself, is not to put the constraints you put on yourself, because there's enough people out there, whether it's a friend, whether it's a family member, whether it's wife, husband, brother, whatever it is, can be negative and can not believe in you. But you've got to work through that, and you've got to be able to believe in yourself. And it took me a long time to do that, and in my 20s I was not prioritising my career, and there was opportunities to be able to do some tests to be able to get into a business, and I shied away from it. So anyone that's out there that has just graduated and is in the position where they want a really good job, but they're a bit scared, could be scared, often is scared, often it could be negative vibes from other people. I would say, what have you got to lose? Do the damn test and see what you can do. You'd be surprised how much more successful than you really think you can be. So this shift in mindset, so there's two parts I just want to just recap on. One is, if you want to go along this route, and if you're currently in a role like an administrator or a support, you need to be able to shift your mindset to believe in yourself. So that's the first thing. You need to believe in yourself. You can't convince anyone else that you're good enough for a promotion or a change without you believing in yourself. So that is 101. Do that. Shift your mindset. Start believing in yourself. And the other one that I just want to highlight at the end here is from being a doer to a thinker. If you've done a degree, let's say, even if you've done A-levels, you have to think, you have to be able to deliver. Not great for business. Have to learn that there's a lot of other things that you need to be able, skills you need to have if you're going to go into business. But what I would say is that just being able to think for your business is brilliant, and it's incredibly rewarding. And if you have that as a comparison to being an administrator, you value it so much more. I value it so much more because I was an administrator for years. This is why I love it. This is why I still wake up every weekday and want to do it. Now, I love doing these podcasts. I love doing these video feeds. I love doing the video blogs. But if nothing ever comes of it, I still love my job. So that's just brilliant. I would definitely suggest that everyone that actually thinks for their job career will have a more rewarding one. So there's just a couple of points that I just wanted to highlight to you. So that's the end. My name is Mark Hayward. Twitter, I've got Mark Hayward 169. You will see YouTube, there's some video blogs, and I'm also going to post this video as well. And then the podcasts, they are on iTunes, Stitcher and Spotify. So please check them out, and any questions, comments, by all means drop them into Twitter or on YouTube. I really would be interested to hear any feedback that you've got, whether you like it, don't like it, whether you like the videos, or if you think it's great. I'd be welcome, either positive or negative. It's for me to grow doing these things, so your feedback will only do that. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you soon.